7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Start it off. You ready? Welcome to Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Jay Noetic. We have 4 awesome broadcasters with us today. Let's go from left to right with some introductions. Let's go with Mr. Allen. Introduce yourself. Tell them about who your favorite teams are.
All right. Well, I'm Allen Hinton. I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, living in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm a Redskins fan, Chicago Bulls fan. My college teams are Old Dominion and UNC for both basketball and football. Those are the sports I specialize in.
That's what's up. Turner.
And John Turner from Newport News, Virginia, but lives in Chesapeake. My teams are the Sacramento Kings, unfortunately, Atlanta Braves, and the Indianapolis Colts. College, just Duke basketball, not football, not college football at all.
They suck. Mr. Perfect.
Name's Perfect Purvis from Tech City, Texas. I'm currently residing in Finland, Kouvola, Finland to be exact. Favorite teams are Ohio State Buckeyes, St. Louis Cardinals, Los Angeles Rams, and I kind of root for the Sacramento Kings as well.
What's up? Leonard. Last but not least.
I am Leonard Lynch Jr. from Killeen, Texas. My favorite teams, college football, is the UT Longhorns. You know, got to represent. Got to. Baseball, MLB, I'm a Rangers fan. Pro football, I'm a Denver Broncos fan. NBA, I'm a Heat fan. College football, actually college anything is pretty much the Longhorns, UT, and Tears fan. So I pretty much span all the sports that I like to watch.
That's what's up. And again, I'm Jay Noetic. I'm from good old Tappahannock, Virginia. I'm from Richmond, but I'm living here in Tampa, Florida now. My teams are San Francisco 49ers, Chicago Bulls, college football, Virginia Tech Hokies, college basketball, Tar Heels, and baseball, San Francisco Giants. So, the goal of this show, each person has a topic that they will discuss, give their opinion on, in the hopes of trying to get the rest of the people to agree with them. If they get more people to agree than disagree, they get a point. If they get more people to disagree than agree with their topic, they lose a point. So we have a scoring system in place. I have a scoreboard over here. As things go on, we'll keep up to date. Each person has 2 challenges for the entire show. If someone gives an opinion and someone else feels that they have a better opinion that's opposite of that, they can issue a challenge. If they issue a challenge and are successful, they get 2 points. If they don't, they lose points. All right, so that's the goal. First up, we are going to go with Mr. Leonard himself. Give us your topic and give your opinion or reason why, and hopefully we agree with you. And if not, sorry for you. Let's get it.
All right. My topic is the best way to build an NFL team. I know historically the best way has always been, you get you a franchise quarterback and then build from there. I'm contrarian to that belief. I'm first. You got to build your line first. You got to have a good line, and then build defense first. Because if you have a good line, if you don't have a good line, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. You got to have line. If they can't protect the quarterback is not going to be that effective, no matter how good they are. We've seen it over the last few years with Aaron Rodgers. He's arguably the best quarterback in the league for the last few years. However, because his line has been bad, that team has not gone very far. So personally, I feel that you should build the team first, starting from defense, then going to the running back, and then find your quarterback that can fit.
Okay.
And we have someone who disagrees, so y'all can go ahead and take it away from there.
So let's take a vote. How many people agree with that perspective? We got any agrees? We got one Leonard, one agree. How many disagrees do we have?
I'm using my paper.
That's right. We're gonna get everybody on board. We have 2 disagrees, and since I'm a host, I'm gonna stay out of for this round. So, Mr. Leonard, you now have -1 point. Now, let's do this. For those who said they disagree, give a reason why you disagree. Give your perspective. Turner, go first.
I see what he's saying as far as building through the lines. I still believe that the franchise quarterback is most important because a really good quarterback can mitigate an offensive line struggles. We've seen quarterbacks throughout the history of the NFL with incredibly low sack rates, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, and their offensive lines have not always been up to par. And I'll give an example as a Colts fan. Peyton Manning had some terrible offensive lines, especially in 2010, and his sack rate was still historically low at about 3%, about 3.5%. A lot of the sacks and things I'm finding out are on the quarterbacks these days. Getting rid of the ball, you can change your protections before they come. Not everybody may be mentally adept at doing that, but there are quarterbacks who are great at avoiding the rush. Matt Stafford, for all of his flaws, has a very low sack rate. Andy Dalton, even though his line is usually outstanding, he generally gets the ball out quick. There are ways to mitigate that. You can change your passing game to emphasize the short passing game with yards after the catch, like our friend Tom Brady. He gets the ball out very quickly. So again, I definitely understand you want to build through the lines, but I feel like a really good quarterback can mitigate that by getting the ball out quickly, getting receivers that are dominant at the release point to gain separation, and also having a quarterback who can make pre-snap checks, get the protections in order, and get rid of the ball quickly. So I still go with the franchise quarterback.
Perfect. Go ahead.
All right. Y'all might not like what I got to say about it. The question was how to build the best NFL team. For me, the team is more than just the players on the field. If you want to build a good NFL team, you want to make sure you have an owner who can make money, because that's the purpose of an NFL team, is to make money. Sports is an entertainment business, and it is a business. A good owner is going to hire people who can make the team competitive, yet also make it exciting. Someone like Jerry Jones. Cowboys had a good run early in the 70s and again in the 90s, yet even though they haven't been successful like Super Bowl-wise, they're still relevant because the owner knows how to make money. As long as they're making money, they're going to be relevant, and that's a good NFL team. Now, on the field, you can draft and get whoever you want to players-wise, but at the end of the day, whatever that team does is going to be monetized, and money is what makes the world go round. A good NFL team makes money.
So you're only looking at it from the perspective of building the organization from a money side of it. I think Leonard's coming from it from the on-field. Alan, really quick, why do you agree? What do you agree? You agree with everything Leonard said?
Before I get to that, I want to speak to purpose right quick. The Detroit Lions, when Matt Miller was the GM, that whole era, they sold out pretty much every home game that entire time. They were having losing seasons. They had top 5 draft picks for 6, 7, 8 years in a row. They financially did great, sold out the stadium every week. Even the fans would sell out. They buy all the tickets and come with the bags over their heads. So you can still make money and be a bad team. I think it's important to have an owner that allows the GM and coach staff to do their thing. But if you just look at it as a guy who figures out and knows how to make money, that's not a very good gauge for your success. I will say with the reason I agree with Lance, Obviously, I'm a former fat guy. I played offensive line, so it begins and ends in the trenches, and that's what you're always taught. We're taught to get the quarterback 3 seconds. And here's my thing to Turner. A lot of those quarterbacks you mentioned, when our teams had success, were veterans. If you got a team with a young quarterback, a franchise guy, regardless of what you want to call him, if he's young, he needs that time. Until he can get to a point where he can read defenses and make those adjustments, those blocking adjustments, he's going to need to have that full 3 seconds, if not more, to get comfortable until the game really slows down for him. If you don't have that, regardless of his arm talent, his ability to make adjustments, if he hasn't gotten the confidence in doing that, he's going to crumble before he gets a chance to be that leader. He's got to be able to have that protection in order to make things work.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. Just to the point of just looking at my own team, look at the year that Colin Kaepernick had a great offensive line and how well he did behind that line. And then the very next year, the line fell apart, and Colin went from being a top 12 QB, in some people's perspectives, to being a bottom tier QB. So I agree with having a great line is definitely one of the things you build for, right? Like most teams always build those interior linemen, whether it's offensive and defensive. So, but unfortunately, Leonard, you didn't get enough people to agree with you, brother. So we're gonna move on to topic number 2. We're gonna go with.
Do I?
Oh, go ahead. Get up. You get a retort. Go ahead. Get a retort. 2 minutes.
Okay. I just wanted to Purvis, to your point, I understand where you're coming from, but I was talking about just an NFL team, like not the franchise. What you're talking about is building a franchise and making money. We're talking about actually building the NFL team. There's a difference there. So, yeah, you want an owner who is going to make money, but the easiest way to make money, as we've seen, until you get a franchise, a brand like the Cowboys have, because the Cowboys franchise is a brand. That's why they'll always make money, because it's a brand. People know that brand. For that whole generation, that's what people knew was the Cowboys. They were the winners back then. So that's why so many people are Cowboys fans, just like Yankees. That's a brand. People know brands, and they follow brands. Now, to Turner, your point, I had to disagree with you because although Peyton and Marino won with the Colts and the Dolphins, they didn't win Super Bowls. Peyton was considered he only won because the same thing that always came up was, well, he can't do it alone. You can't say he can't do it alone and then say, well, that's the way you build a team, because there have been other teams who have built, especially recently, when you look at the 49ers, when you look at the Seahawks, when you look over the last decade with the Patriots. They have a plug-and-play system where if somebody goes down, anybody can step up. People make the argument that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, but the year he went down, that team still prospered. No other teams don't do that. Now, if you're building a complete team, you can work around one person going down. You can work around that quarterback going down, and that's what I'm looking at it as. You got to be able to everyone work together.
All right, cool. Topic 2, Turner, leads you off with your topic. Give your opinion. Try to convince us, brother, to agree with you.
All right. Everybody knows, well, first of all, the topic is Russell Westbrook and triple doubles. First of all, let me say this about Russell Westbrook. He's totally awesome. Let me get that out there. Westbrook is a top 5 player in the NBA. He has been a top 5 NBA player for the past 2 years. It's probably safe to say that he's probably the best player on this team at this point. My issue is not specifically with Westbrook, but the issue with triple doubles. Now, I've caught a lot of flack in the group because a lot of people are enamored with triple doubles, which is funny because then people say, well, you're a LeBron fan, you should love triple doubles. Nah, it don't work like that. I don't think that triple doubles are an indictment of value, and here's why I think that way. Triple doubles are just numbers. Everybody knows that I love numbers, but what do those numbers represent? You could have 10 points, excuse me, 10 rebounds and 10 assists, and you could still get a triple double. But you could shoot 4 for 15 from the field. You could have 8 turnovers, and you could steal rebounds from your teammates. As much as I love Russ, Russ steals rebounds from his teammates. Russ hunts for assists, which breaks down the offense. As we've seen, the Thunder offense can bog down at the end of games. Part of that, not saying that he's consciously hunting for assists, but I will say that there are times where he holds the ball and dribbles it looking for assists as opposed to just going to the cup. I feel like triple-doubles don't necessarily mean value. If somebody who has a 10, 10, and 10 game, is that more valuable than somebody who has a 20, 9, and 9 game? Especially if that 20 is on 50% shooting and they didn't steal any rebounds from their teammates and they don't hunt for assists. I feel like we as sports fans just put way too much emphasis on triple doubles. Look at Rajon Rondo. Rondo's been a below average player for a while, and I'm not just saying that because he's on my Kings. He's been below average for a while, but people see the triple doubles and all of a sudden think that he's an elite player. But when you dig deeper into the box score, what's his plus minus impact? How does he impact his teammates? Does the team rebound better when he's on the court? You got to look deeper into things like that, and I don't think that triple doubles are an accurate depiction of value in that one particular game.
Now, are you saying, real quick before we throw up our agree disagree,
Okay.
are you saying that the triple double is overrated completely, or are you just saying that a triple double is based on what they do? Like if they get 30 points and 15 rebounds and 11 assists, are you saying that's the overrated stat, or are you saying just a 10, 10, and 10?
Not just what the triple-double itself. It's rare that you're going to get a 30, 15, and 11 triple-double. Just the triple-double, just looking at it, not necessarily knowing if they had a 30-point triple-double or a 10-point triple-double. Having a triple-double itself, to me, is overrated. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they had a good game just because they had 3 sets of 10, basically.
All right, guys, let's vote. How many agrees? We got any agrees out over there? Damn, how many disagrees we got? Hold on, what's that? Damn, that's a unanimous disagree.
Man, y'all terrible. Y'all terrible, man. So y'all gonna stick me with the first unanimous disagree. Y'all is terrible, man. Y'all terrible.
Can I start it off?
Hold on. We got unanimous disagree. So we gotta take away -3 points on this one.
Y'all terrible, man. You know what? I think it's this WNBA on my TV, man. That's what it is. I promise you, that's what it is. Let me get this stuff off my TV. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Let me get this stuff off my TV, man.
All right, who wanna go first? Alan, go ahead. Tell them why you disagree.
Let's go. Liz is ready to go. Liz is ready to go.
Go ahead.
This is why I disagree. I think every time I've seen you talk about this topic, you always say 10, 10, and 10. But there's more triple doubles. There's 10, 10, and 10. Now, if you're just saying that people are putting too much value on just getting a triple double, I can somewhat see what that is. But you can't say that you want someone who can do it all. But then when you have a stat that showcases someone who actually does it all, say, well, that's overvalued or that's overrated. Because can you kind of stack the stat box and do that like you're saying that Russ does? Yeah, you can. But it also shows that you actually did something in the game. Now, there's not a lot of just 10, 10, and 10 triple-double games. Like, you're not getting a lot of that. I know Rondo has done that a few times, trying to stack the stat box. But most of the time, you're getting someone who actually added value to that game. If you look at the triple-doubles, they actually did something else other than just try to stack the box like that. And it's not something that they're actively seeking. It's something that just happened organically with them playing well. And if they're playing well and get a triple-double and it helps the team, then I feel like that has a great value.
Okay.
And that's why I disagree.
Perfect.
Yeah, let me go because I don't really like basketball. Okay, triple double. It's called a triple double. It's not called a double-double, not called a single-double. There's a reason it's a triple-double. It's better than all the other doubles. If you get a triple-double, you've done something that a lot of people can't do. And the reason you do it is because you have that value. So obviously you're getting triple-doubles, you are doing something right. Of course you could be doing something wrong, and you can nitpick the little stats that go against the triple-double. But there's a reason we talk about triple-doubles. Because it's a good stat and it has value. That's pretty much all I got to say about it.
Okay. Alan?
So here's what I think. I think the point, assist, rebound triple-double is overrated. Or overvalued. But the triple-double itself is not. When you think about a triple-double, people always just immediately jump to assists and rebounds and points. But if you think about a big guy or somebody who doesn't play point guard, like, to be able to have that good of a game, like David Robinson had 34, it was a quadruple double, but it still goes to my point. If you have 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 blocks is hard to get, regardless of what position you play. 10 assists is hard to get for a center. So to me, I'm not going to look at that and say, well, was David Robinson hunting out teammates to get the ball to? You know, did he manufacture blocks? Like, to be able to have those types of categories, those types of stats in those categories is big. Like, that, it may not necessarily say David Robinson is the best center of all time, just like it doesn't say Rajon Rondo is the most versatile point guard or Russell Westbrook is the most talented point guard, even though I think that Russell Westbrook is the best athlete to ever play point guard ever. Not necessarily basketball player, but best, like, most physically gifted athlete. It goes to a guy's versatility. It goes to the type of night he had more than anything. And just to really show that this guy was on, you know. You can't take away David Robinson's quadruple-double. You look at that and say, yo, that dude went off. If Russell Westbrook has a 21, 12, and 11 game, it's hard to take away from that and say anything other than he had a spectacular night. And that's just my view. It's overvalued if you're talking about a guy's general talent. I don't think Russell Westbrook's better than other point guards because of his ability to get triple-doubles, but it does go to that person's night and their versatility, and for that, you can't overvalue.
All right, cool. Really quick, Turner, retort. Even though you're -3.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, man, y'all killing me. But I'll say, I'm gonna just say this, man. Not all triple doubles are created equal. So to your point, Alan, David Robinson was a G. So I'm not gonna disrespect him in any way. That 34, 10, 10, and 10, the quadruple double actually, I mean, you know, that is what it is. He put those numbers up. But like a lot of the times I look at triple doubles, and single game plus minus is always notoriously noisy. But sometimes just looking at the game, everybody think I'm a numbers guy and don't look at games, whatever. But you can look at a game and you can actively see a person taking rebounds from his teammates that his teammates could get. You can see somebody dribbling the ball and got a open lane to the cup, but then they look for the assist anyway. So I feel like I'm not saying a 34-10 and 10 triple double is bad or overrated, but what I am saying that everybody ain't David Robinson and don't get triple doubles like that either. So I mean, look, I'm not gonna change y'all minds, man, and that's cool. I like this a lot, but I'm just saying that when I see somebody with a triple double, I look a bit deeper. Like, what's the plus minus for the game? Like, how was the assist ratio when they were in the game compared to when they were on the bench? How did the team rebound when they were on the game and when they were on the bench? Like, you can see those kind of things so you can determine what their real impact on the game was besides the actual triple-double.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, guys. Topic 3 is try to keep y'all on point. You know how y'all like to do. Let's do perfect. Let's get it.
All right, my topic is
Hold on. Before you go, don't get the second unanimous. You know, it might just happen up in here. All right, let's go.
Hopefully, I'm not the second unanimous, but my topic is college football players should get paid. Okay, The reason I think that they should get paid is the money is there. The NCAA makes $11 billion a year, yet they have these college students playing football, going to college, and telling them that that's enough. It's not enough. You got head coaches getting paid an average in D1 of $1.5 million. They could take a pay cut and let some of them players get some of that money. They really should. Another thing that you have with the college players is you're told that, as an ex-college player, I really remember the struggle. You're told, all right, you can get a regular job if you want to, but it can't interfere with what you have going on at school. So let's say you're a college student. You spend about 40 hours a week just doing football activities between meetings and practice and weights. Then you're looking at a 12-hour week of classes. If you do the recommended 4 hours per class, that's another 48 hours in the week. You're looking at, like 88, almost 90 hours a week, and you're not getting any money extra for that. If you want to get extra money, you have to go get another job and try to work another 20 hours a week, while the cost of tuition is only $22,000 a year. So let's say, okay, my tuition is my income. You're telling me I'm working 88 hours a week and only making $22,000 a year? I don't know what the hell that got to do with minimum wage, but I know that ain't right numerically. I don't know the money amount of that, but I know that if I'm working 88 hours and I'm making less than 40K, I'm getting fucking raped, right? Yet we all sit here and let these kids go and do that work. It's damn near slavery, indentured servitude or something. You sign a contract, I've got a scholarship on this team, but I cannot make any money. I can't sell my likeness, but okay, now since the O'Bannon case, there's a cost of attendance stipend. Okay, so instead of me making my $22K for my scholarship, you're going to give me between $2,000 and $5,000 a year and call that cost of attendance. So now what you're telling me is my 88 hours is not worth 22, but it's worth 28,000 a year. You're still fucking. And that's what we're doing to these kids and putting them in situations where they're like, this is too much money I'm missing by staying in school. I'm going to leave. I'm going to try to get in the NFL. Then you have, like you had this year, you have almost 100 undergraduate students in the NFL draft, and only about 22 of them are getting drafted. So you got all these kids who go back to college to actually get a degree to make money, who for the last 3 years have been making this school millions and millions of dollars, while their coach has been paid in the millions of dollars. Let's say Nick Saban, who's making $7 million a year, and now this guy has no degree, no prospects, and nowhere to go. Okay. Because we say that his scholarship is enough. I don't know if I went over my time, but that's how I feel about it.
I'm about to play the Grammy music to get you off the mic. I'm about to find it somewhere. All right, cool. I'm not a voter, but I will say I agree that the college players should get paid. So let's take a vote really quick. How many people agree with that?
Man, he cherry picked. Man, whatever, yo. Whatever. Nah, yo. Like, no, man. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping, yo. All right.
Hold on, Alan ain't saying nothing yet. Alan, what you voting?
Can I issue the first challenge and agree to disagree history?
Hold on. Okay. Let me give Perfect 1 point because he did get more agrees.
He did get more agrees.
And now here's the challenge.
So everyone looks at this number, this $1 billion number the NCAA makes, as just a blanket. The NCAA is making this kind of money. So I'm looking here. In 2011, the NCAA made $12.6 billion. Or rather, sports revenue $12.6 billion. Here's the thing. Most Division I programs have between 11 and 14 sports, between men and women. There's only, at most, 3 sports that generate revenue. So while you're looking at this number and saying these programs are making $12.6 billion, 3 sports are making it, and the other 9 to 11 are being supported by that same money. The only way you can realistically pay college athletes is A, to get rid of some of those non-revenue sports, or B, just start sharing that money. And if you're really looking at, there's only, again, 5 conferences. The Power 5 conferences are making money. If you're talking about paying athletes, you got to do it everywhere. You can't just pay Power 5 athletes. You got to pay Conference USA, WAC, A10, so on and so forth. How many of these conferences that are making money are outside of the A10? Can the University of North Carolina at Charlotte afford to pay more than that $27,000 that you're talking about to their badminton players? You look at this number, but you have to remember that the athletic department is a department as a whole. Football, basketball, baseball aren't by themselves. If it was just, if you could somehow find a way to separate those revenue-making sports and not have to support the rest of the department, that'd be one thing. But that's not going to happen. So the only way you could really do that is either separate the Power 5 conferences or separate the sports. Neither one of them makes any kind of sense to me. And neither one of them really is fiscally viable for the schools. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense when you just look at this small sample. You just look at these couple of sports and then completely lose sight of what the programs are for. No, because those 3 sports generate more money, it doesn't mean they're more valuable to the school or the department. The athletic department has to focus on each sport. The school that I went to, Christian Newport University, for the longest time, the women's basketball team was the best team that they had. Obviously, it's a D3 school, so they're not making money anyway. But if you look at a school that's on a D1 level in that same way, are you going to tell me that my girls don't deserve to get paid or they shouldn't be paid attention to because they're a non-revenue-generating sport, even though they're the best sport that we have? Like, you have to really take into account each of these teams has players that are working just as hard as those football players and just aren't making money. So, you know, what can we do for any team that's not Alabama, LSU, UNC, whatever the case may be, that isn't going to make that money for the whole program? If your program can't support paying money to everybody, you can't pay the money to anybody.
All right, fellas. Before we do a retort, we gotta to agree to disagree on this. There's Alan with his challenge in the first sports politicking agree disagree. How many people agree with his challenge? That's a disagree. How many people disagree?
Man, I don't know. I'm just happy he did the first challenge and agree disagree history. I'm still on that. Like,
perfect. Where you at? You agree or disagree?
He better.
Duh.
So we got.
Y'all waiting
Challenge
on me.
didn't make it because 2 of us disagree.
Yeah, so it doesn't even matter what I say. I was gonna.
Points for not winning the challenge, right?
I was going to agree. I don't have my paper, but I was gonna agree with him. But you know, yeah. Sorry, Alan.
Alan, you know what that means, right?
I tried.
You know what that means, right?
Yeah, I lose points.
You lose 5 points. 5.
Ooh, damn.
5.
You below me now. I'm not at the bottom of the totem pole.
So right now, the only person
You ain't even supposed to be up top again. You lost 5.
1 point.
Oh no, that got to change. Come on, man. We got to.
Can I retort?
What? No, because you did a 10-minute spiel.
Yeah.
I did about 7.5 coming back at me.
Got your 1 point.
I promise I'll keep it short.
I don't think so.
No, we all agree with
Y'all
that.
crazy, man. Y'all crazy, man.
So we're gonna move on to topic number 3. Oh, this is 4. This is 3, right?
4.
4. This will be who?
Alan.
Alan.
Right? I'm the only person left.
Yeah, it's Alan.
So
All right. What's the topic, Alan?
my topic was Art Briles firing. And my opinion is that it's terrible for Baylor, and as of right now, it actually means nothing for college sports. The University of Baylor had Pepper Hamilton LLC do an external investigation, for those who don't know, about the allegations about sexual assaults and date rapes being covered up or misreported over the last 7, 10 years, something like that. They found that numerous members of the football team's coaching staff have done various things that were illegal. One of the quotes that I got was, some football coaches and staff took improper steps in response to disclosures of sexual assault and dating violence that precluded the university from fulfilling its legal obligations. Legally, that is violating Title IX. I work at a college. Title IX is a huge thing. In the real world, if you are in any way implicated in doing that, you're probably going to lose your job. The school has reassigned their president and fired a head coach, despite the fact that Art Briles was not named directly in the report. The report repeatedly says coaches. So the fact of the matter is the university has only done what I would call is pretending to show contrition in order to get people to think that they really are doing something about it. But the reality is they're more focused on their brand, their success than anything. Art Briles and that coaching staff brought a team to the forefront of the Big 12 that had consistent losing seasons pretty much the entire history. They'd never had a 10-win season before he got there. The last time I saw one of the leading candidates to be the interim coach is the defensive coordinator, who was one of the key guys that was brought up when this first started, talking about and one of their other players who had actually ended up being convicted of a sexual assault, and his only response when it first came out was, "Oh, this guy's got some things he's working through." So to fire a head coach and then possibly promote a guy interim who was just as involved or possibly just as involved shows to me the school doesn't really care. They did what they did in order to be able to put out press clippings and say, "Hey, look, we tried. This was bad. This shit sucks. We're sorry." From the research that I did, it looks as though a couple of attorneys that were involved in the Penn State case for the NCAA don't feel the NCAA is going to hand down any sanctions. People are looking at it as, will the NCAA do something to penalize Baylor? And because of the financial hit that the NCAA took during the Penn State case, because it was a legal case, they had to get lawyers, and that got expensive. They're not going to get involved. I think that's fine, but to me, you at some point have to do something for the coaches. As it stands right now, if Art Briles gets fired and nothing else happens to him, he's going to have another job in 2 years. He's too good of a coach to just stay unemployed. So I think the NCAA should inflict some kind of, whether it be 3, 5, or 10-year show cause, not only on him, but on his assistant coaches. 3 years ago, when Radford had a recruiting scandal, the NCAA hit Brad Greenberg, who was the head coach, with a 3-year show cause, and 3 of his assistants got 2-year show causes, and none of them have gotten jobs. So there is precedent for it getting not only the head coach but the assistant coaches out. I think that is what the university needs to do, or the NCAA should mandate. So in closing, I guess, to reaffirm what my position is that this current situation as it stands means nothing for college football until someone actually, NCAA steps in and sanctions these coaches. Nothing will change.
So you're saying it's bad for Baylor, basically, and bad for college football.
Right, as it stands right now.
Okay. So hold on, really quick before we do agree disagree. We have 6 viewers in here right now, so we welcome the viewers. If you're watching, you can also submit questions. In fact, we want you to submit questions. Ask a sports question, and maybe we can get these guys to try to agree disagree on those questions that you submit. So submit questions. We greatly appreciate it. All right, fellas. Agree or disagree with Alan's perspective that the firing of the Baylor's coach is bad for Baylor and bad for college football? You got to disagree and agree. Turner, where you at on this one?
Where them thumbs at?
Where the thumbs at? So we got 2 agrees and 1 disagree. Okay, we can do that. So we're gonna give Alan back one of his points.
Now you only got what, -4?
-4. -4. So let's do a couple of other agrees really quick.
Okay.
Not really why you agree. Anyone, Turner? Go ahead.
I'll take it then.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. Originally, I was on the side of saying that it was good for college, bad for Baylor. Honestly, Alan just convinced me in his little spiel today about like how it's still bad for college. I hadn't thought about the whole if he doesn't get any other sanction besides being fired, that's it. Like he's gonna still be able to get another job. And I understand what he said with that, and I really agree with that because that's what college needs is more than just okay, we're gonna say he's fired, sweep it under the rug, save face for the university, and then in a couple of years he resurfaces somewhere else. And that the way that Alan said it reminded me that's kind of how it is in college. If something happens, there's a scandal, coaches go away, but then they come back. They always resurface somewhere. The great ones do anyways. Of course, the bad ones, Paterno's too old. He's not coming back. But that's why I agree, and Alan made really good points. I can't do anything but agree with that.
All right. And disagree? Oh, hold on. I'm trying to go ahead.
No, listen. I don't really profess to know about a lot about college football. I'll just say that the way that he presented his points, it was definitely very eloquent, and I think that, see, in situations like this, man, how do we really know, like, what? Okay, and I'm gonna kind of use an example of something here. I remember Lentz has always been a big proponent or a more vocal proponent of due process. So I feel like, how do we really know, like, why was he fired for stuff that wasn't even attached to his name? I'm not even trying to start a whole nother topic, but y'all feel free to answer. Like, why was he? I understand head coach in college football is like God, you know, whatever. But like, why just because there were allegations that he had to go? I know that they reassigned the athletic director, if I'm not mistaken, and the other guy went to chancellor. But why did Browse have to be the fall guy for that?
So the athletic director has been punished, but they haven't actually specified what his punishment is. The president was moved to chancellor, so he has no administrative rights. All he does is interact with other schools and do a lot more of the social fundraising types of things. I think, I know I just jumped in without moderation, but the reason why Browse gets fired is because he's the most recognizable name. If you fired the wide receivers coach, for example, or the defensive line coach, since Sean Oakman is one of the guys who's been implicated, 95% of people that watch SportsCenter or look at ESPN, whatever the case may be, they're not going to know who that guy was. This is all about, okay, we got to do something that people are going to actually recognize. You can put on breaking news on ESPN, Art Browse get fired. If the bottom line says Baylor's defensive line coach gets fired, nobody's going to care. Half the people, I don't even know the dude's name right now. And I watch college football. So if I'm just a casual ESPN watcher, I'm just going to look at that and say, oh, I don't know who that is, whatever. They still need to do something. So the guy who's got the most recognizable name in these situations is always going to fall.
Cool. All right, so let's give these guys an opportunity to win some of these points back. We have 12 minutes.
What's the score? What's the score?
Is in last place, Allen with -4 points. Turner with -3 points. Leonard with -1 point, and Perfect with 1 point.
What?
Man, how is he winning, man? Y'all,
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
look, he made one trip to the barbershop, and now all of a sudden he's winning. Come on, man. Y'all
Look,
crazy.
here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna wing it right now.
All right.
We're gonna choose. I'm on ESPN.com right now. We're gonna just pick up some topics that happened in the last 48 hours, and everyone can give their quick 2-minute perspective on it, and we can go down and see if we can get some agree to disagree.
Alan Purvis, I hear that 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 32.
Someone pull up a clock, pull up a stopwatch.
You said relatively 2 minutes, right? Around 2 minutes.
Under
No,
2 minutes.
man, 2 minutes, man.
Under 2 minutes. To give your best perspective. If you can get everyone to agree, we'll give you some extra points on this. So, Warriors versus Thunder. This is a topic that came up in that Turner actually posted. If the Warriors come back and win Game 7, is that the biggest collapse in NBA history by the Thunder? Who wants to go first?
Man, no, listen. Yeah, no.
Wait,
No. All right. No, first of all, it's not the biggest choke in NBA history. I was on the fence on this at first until one of the group members, who I'll leave nameless because I don't really like him that much. I ain't gonna give him no shine. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's definitely not a choke for sure. You got to understand, like, the Warriors were favored in the beginning. Like, it shouldn't even have gone this far. I understand that the series has changed a bit in the fact that the Thunder raced out to a 3-1 lead. You know, they showed some things. Billy Donovan is coaching his behind off. Was coaching his behind off. You know, Durant and Westbrook were playing, and then the Warriors all of a sudden remembered they were the Warriors. So now you've got a Game 7 at home. If they win, although the series took on a different tone in the beginning and the middle, it's getting towards the end now. If the Warriors win, this is what everybody predicted anyway. Hard to say it's a choke when the better team won. You got to put them away, man. If you can't put them away, great team, historically great team. You got to put your foot on their neck, man. No, it's not a choke.
All right, who agree? Oh, we got a thumbs down. Who disagree? So we got 2 disagree. Dang, Turn, I'm trying to give you points, man. You keep losing.
Man. And the sad thing is, hold on, no. Litz actually has a paper and he used my thumb. Like,
well, I was trying to show out for you, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hold it down for you. You don't have your paper. I feel you.
Yeah, I got you, man.
So we got 2 disagree or 1 agree? 1 agree, disagree.
2 disagree,
I
1 agree.
I don't remember who else did, but I know I disagree.
So we got 2 disagree. Sorry, Turner. I disagree. -1. All right, really quick. Somebody else give a perspective before we move on. Someone else can go. Everyone except Perfect.
I got it. The reason I disagreed was because I do think it's a choke job. Even though coming into the series, it was deemed as the Warriors were the better team, that changes by game. Who's playing better at the time? The Thunder have played better this entire series, except probably Game 1. They played better. So although coming into the series, it was like, well, the Warriors are going to win. You got to go back and look throughout the season. It wasn't that big of a difference between the teams. There wasn't that big of a disparity between the talent on the teams. It wasn't that big a disparity when they played during the season. It was always close games. So now it comes down to who's playing better right now. The Thunder have been playing better. They've been handling them easily. So when you got that big of a lead, you're up 3-1. You got to end that. You got now. The only thing I can think of just off the top of my head that is close is Dallas back in 2006 against the Heat, because they collapsed when Wade went off. And right now there's no one Klay Thompson just went off last night, because that should have been over. It was over. They had the lead 6 minutes ago. You got the lead like that, you've got to have to. But they got lackadaisical. I think what they really did was everybody tried to get that killer shot, that shot at the end that ends it, and they just kept turning over. Ruspick was making and everything. They reverted back to what they had been all season. So that if they lose on what is it, tomorrow or Monday?
Tomorrow.
Monday. If they lose Monday, I don't think it's the biggest choke job. I don't think it's the biggest choke. It's a choke job because you're up 3-1 on a team that you're pretty much neck and neck with. You have to win that. You can't collapse like they just did, and you can't lose at home.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Jets are offering Ryan Fitzpatrick $12 million in the first year. Is he worth it, and why?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Why? You can't answer perfect. It's only between Turner, Leonard, and Allen, the negative guys.
I think right now the Jets they need a quarterback bad right now. They need to get someone in there. They know the quarterbacks they have right now aren't really worth nothing. But right now Fitzpatrick, because he had a good season last year, they're like, okay, well maybe we can work with this. My thing is, Geno Smith beat him out last year. So if you had enough confidence last year in the beginning in the offseason that Geno was your guy, just go with him. He's not worth $12 million. They're basically doing like the Redskins are doing is they're trying to give him that money because they can't find a better option right now. But giving him that money hurts you in the long run.
Agreed. Turner, Allen, y'all agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I disagree. I disagree, and here's why. Especially with the Geno thing, you just mentioned in the recap for OKC and Golden State, completely different sports, of course, that things change throughout the course of a game, a series, in this case, a football season. Like you said, though, Fitzmagic was actually pretty good last year. He had rapport with Decker and he had rapport with Marshall, and he didn't stink it up. You got two good receivers. A quarterback, should be better than historically what they were, and he was last year. Fortunately for him that they have huge catch radiuses, but based on last year, it's hard to say give Geno the job now when Fitzpatrick was actually a pretty above average NFL quarterback last year. As far as whether Geno could come in after if Fitzmagic stinks it up. As far as whether he's worth the money in this market, he is. To that team, he is. So that's why I disagree.
Got you. Alan, did you want to say something really quick?
I think that Lentz covered the majority of it. The only thing I have to add, you got a guy here who has had more interceptions than touchdowns 4 times in his career. The most recent was 2010, but he's been close almost every year since then, with the exception of the last 2 years. And the year before that, he only played 11 games. This guy is a guy who has not been great historically throughout his career. He's bounced around teams. He's been known more for his poor play than his good play. You can't really name more than 2 seasons where people were just like, this Ryan Fitzpatrick guy might really have a future. If his talent production is equal to what you think Geno Smith, why pay him $12 million when Geno's on a rookie contract to do the same stuff? I don't see anything. I've never seen anything from Ryan Fitzpatrick that leads me to believe he should be a starting quarterback in the league. And at 34, that doesn't change to me. And like Lentz said, the reality is if Geno Smith doesn't get punched in the jaw over $600 last year, we're not talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick at all right now. Geno Smith starts the entire season or until he invariably gets hurt because he seems to do that. And
all right, so here we go, really quick. I'm going to say Brandon Marshall thinks that Fitzpatrick should be his quarterback. So Brandon Marshall says
yeah, but Brandon Marshall vehemently defends his teammates, sometimes to the point of absurdity. So
Brandon Marshall said Kyle Orton is the best quarterback he ever played with. So
right, yeah. I love Brandon Marshall, but he does go a bit too far sometimes. So
all right, here we go. This question can only be answered by Turner and Allen, because they're both in the negative still.
Leonard, you keep telling everybody.
The last one because you got more agrees. The Chicago Cubs are 33-14, and the Boston Red Sox are 29-20. If they meet in the World Series, who's the better team and who wins it and why?
Well, and I will go with the Cubs, and I will go with the Cubs because you in a short series you can pitch your best guy twice. Arrieta's the best pitcher, and Arrieta's the best pitcher in baseball right now. So you could bring him back on short rest. So if it ends up going 7, you can pitch him game 1, you could pitch him game 4, and then you can pitch him game 7 if you have to. That young talent in Chicago is coalescing with Bryant, Soler, Baez, Rizzo. You know, they have a potent offense, pretty good defense, and then you got an ace in Arrieta. You know, I feel like that would tip the tables, especially if you can pitch him 3 times.
All right, y'all agree or disagree? Alan, you can't vote. This comes down to the Leonard and Perfect.
The Cubs would win against the Red Sox.
Well, based on what Turner said, do you agree with the perspective? He trying to get points, man.
I'm gonna give him a bone. I'm gonna give him a bone, man. I'm gonna give him a bone.
Perfect. Yeah, we got that. Yeah, we're gonna give you 2 points. Now you're at -2.
Yo, why am I getting sympathy points? Man, I don't want no sympathy points, man. No, y'all crazy, yo.
Alan, go. Give your perspective. Same question.
I was gonna go the opposite direction he did. The Red Sox, they're an older team. Reality is if we're going all the way through the playoffs, by the time they get there, you know, historically the old teams usually tend to break down. If we're going those teams, like he said, the team with the younger talent is gonna take it. Especially when they're playing better now. They're just going to keep getting stronger as the season goes on. Red Sox going to just keep being old.
I'm going to have to say my Giants are going to win anyway because
man, the moderator can't enter into the conversation, man. What's going on, man?
I was feeling left out for it. So, man, F it. We're gonna give Allen some points too.
Yo,
we're gonna give you team wins. Team wins.
We're gonna give you some points too. There you go.
We don't want no participation trophy points, man.
All right. So final question. This goes to Leonard and Perfect. They're both at 1 point apiece. So the voting on agree to disagree for the winner only comes down to Turner and Allen. Here's a question. Here's a topic that I don't even remember. Vaguely remember, it was a player who just said that white athletes are overlooked.
Oh God.
Richard McCaffrey.
Richard McCaffrey. Do you agree with that perspective of what he said? Why or why not? Perfect.
Let's go first.
No. You've been sitting long enough.
I've been winning for long enough. That makes me the home team.
Oh, okay. Okay. Leonard, go.
All right, I'll go. I disagree. Because no one's putting him down for what he can do. They're giving him compliments. They're talking about how gritty he is, how hard he works. They're not saying he's not fast. They're not saying he's not athletic. They're just saying he works hard. He's a hard worker. They're not putting him down. Whereas at other positions, like a black quarterback, they're saying he's not smart enough to handle the position. Doesn't matter if he's a Heisman winner. Doesn't matter if he produced all 4 years in college. That doesn't matter. But when you go to Christian McCaffrey saying he's overlooked, he's getting propped up because he's a white running back. They're saying, man, look at him. Look what he's doing. And he's a white running back and he's doing this? He put up 2,200 yards, all-purpose yards as a white guy? How is he doing this? They're giving him all the props of being a black running back and then hyping him up because he's white. He's getting it both ways. It was the same thing with Peyton Hillis that year he went off and got on the Madden cover. He's like, man, he's having a great year. But it wasn't that great of a year. If he was a black guy, it was just been a regular year. But because he was a white running back, he got all those props. And I feel like they're doing the same thing with Christian McCaffrey. By himself, on his own merits, Christian McCaffrey is a great player. He can do everything. Look at his size, his speed, his agility, his vision. He can block. He does it all. He's a great player, but he's getting extra props just for being a white guy. And I disagree with his assessment that, well, he's not getting the love he's getting because he's white. He's getting more love because he's white. And that's how I feel. He's getting the same props as Reggie Bush got.
All right. Cool. Perfect. Go, and then we're going to vote.
I would say it like this. McCaffrey is a great running back. I think he's probably the best one in college right now going up to this next year. Just like everybody fucking else does. The kid is using his color as a gimmick. Just like Michael Sam say he got kicked out of the NFL because he's gay. No, he didn't. He could not actually play well enough to make the team for the Rams or any other team. That's what it is. McCaffrey is a great player. He's a Heisman candidate. He will get drafted. Why does he feel the need to say that he's overlooked? Just like Lynch just said, everybody knows about him. Everybody knows he's one of the best in the nation. He's not overlooked because he's white. He's not overlooked at all. So why is he bringing his color into it? If he was a black player saying that he was overlooked because he's black, you'd have all these people saying, oh, no, he's bringing the race card out. But because he's white, he feels that he can all of a sudden just flip the race card some way. I feel that what he's saying is unmerited and it's really not worth anybody's time talking about. His color has nothing to do with his stature in NCAA college football. That's my piece.
So,
hold on, we gotta vote. It comes down to Turner and Allen, our negative broadcasters.
Negative, bro. Yo, I feel like it's got to be a better way to say that, man. Our negative, bro.
On in week 2. Your vote determines the first winner of the sports politicking agree to disagree. Whose perspective do you agree with? You agree with Leonard or Perfect? Turner.
You know he's not gonna say Leonard. I know
No,
that.
no. I mean, God, man. Alan, you go first. Alan, you go first. Alan, you go first. Alan, you go first.
So, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna say something else. I agree with what Leonard said, but one thing I noticed, both of y'all are looking at it, what he said based on it coming from him, as opposed to looking at what he said. The reality is, anytime you see a white guy in the NFL at a skill position, his athleticism always comes into question. That's basketball or football, if you really think about it, because Doug McDermott, when we drafted him, everybody talked about his inability to, well, I mean, it was true, but his inability to defend because he lacked athleticism. And so when they came to the combine, he did a vertical, and they got 36-inch verticals and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm going to get back to football. If you really think about it, when was the last time you could name a white cornerback? There's a bunch of white safeties, but what was the last white cornerback to make it and be a starter in the NFL?
Jason Sehorn?
Right.
Yeah, Sehorn.
Like, when is the last time you had a white running back dominate in the NFL?
In the NFL?
Yeah.
I guess it would be Peyton Hillis. That was the last one who had the last good season. Like, if you think about it.
That's an interesting.
Vote.
But what about Danny Woodhead? Danny Woodhead consistently puts up great. Now, he's not dominant, but he does everything.
And that's my point. That's my point. They use him as a utility guy.
We got to vote. Don't get muted. Vote.
I agree with Lynn. I agree with Lynn.
Yeah, I agree more with Lentz.
There it is.
Yeah, I do agree more with him. Yeah.
The winner of the first sports politicking agree to disagree show is Leonard Lentz Jr.
Turner looks so pissed right now. He had to say Lentz.
Hey, you better get muted, Perfect. Yeah, a closing statement, Leonard. Whatever you want, man. Go ahead. You got 10 seconds.
I'd like to appreciate everybody that viewed Turner for actually voting for me. I was surprised. I figured Purvis was going to win. I was like, oh, he ain't going for Lynch. But this was fun the first time. I hope we keep this up.
We're going to try to do this every Sunday, 3 p.m. For right now. Thank y'all for who did join in. Catch the replay. It's on our YouTube channel, Sports Politicen. If you want to join the Facebook group, you need to email us as well, sportspoliticen@gmail.com. And one of these guys will either accept you or reject you.
As a matter of fact, send it to Brandon Fauntleroy. He's the admin. Flood his inbox. we got to plug the admin. So
that's what's up. So thank y'all for joining, fellas. I'm gonna send y'all invite really quick, and talk to you a little bit.
Shout out Hobbs.
Hobbs.
Hobbs.